Hi, Dr. Dave here. I'm with my son David. You want to say hi, David?
Hi.
And we're here today. We want to show you a pregame warm-up that you can do. Why would you do a pregame warm-up? What's the most important reason why you do it?
So you can move around easily if you're playing sports and you don't get stiff and get an injury.
Yeah, right, especially that injury part. So real important that we warm up, get the body warm, so at that point we don't feel like we're more likely to strain ourselves when we're out on the field or out on the court or anywhere we are. And the problem really, what happens, I know it's true for David with soccer, it can be any sport. Typically there's one game after another, whether it's at the field, at the rink, at the tennis court, at the basketball court. It's hard to get in there and get a good warm-up because the games are stacked side by side. So what he's been doing, we created a program where he does it at home right before we drive over to the game, right?
Yeah.
So what type of stretch do we do before you play?
You do active stretches so you can duplicate what you're going to do in the game or practice.
The movements that you would do on the field, we're trying to warm you up to do that now, right?
Yeah.
So active stretch, like he said, are dynamic, which means he'll be in motion. So the difference between that versus the static stretch where you may hold for a certain amount of seconds without movement, that would be something you do after the game in a cool down. So that's the difference between the two. So you ready to get going?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we start with just a real light warm up to help get the blood flowing, get the heart rate up to warm up the body, right? And then from there, by the way, can I ask you, what else gets warmed up outside of the muscles and the joints when we do this? Any idea?
Ligaments?
Ligaments too, that's a good one, you're right. So muscles, tendons, ligaments, joints. But the other one is that we don't really think about this much, but it actually opens up the nervous system, wakes it up. The more we start moving, remember, our body moves, the muscles move according to what our brain tells the nerves and the nerves tell the muscles. So we're actually waking up the nervous system too, which is important as well. So you may have better reaction on the field, for example.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, so what are we going to start with just to start getting the blood flowing?
Jumping jacks.
Okay, so go ahead, I'll let you start. I'll stand back a little bit. And what we've done is just created something real easy where you can get some movement in. The heart rate starts to go up. The blood starts to pump. There's just a nice way he's using the upper and lower body at that point. Now, that's good, David, from there. And typically you'll go a little further. He also brings in the jump rope as well. But that's a good, nice warm-up to begin with, right? And then what should we do at this point from there?
We should do high knees.
Okay, high knees. Okay, so just step forward just a little bit so you don't hit the bench. Yeah, and why don't you demonstrate? And let's keep in mind, when we start, we want to go light with the motions, and then gradually, as you go further, you want to increase the range of motion more and more. So just start light at the beginning. Don't come all the way up. Yep. And then gradually increase in the height of your knees. So at that point, we're slowly working into the movement. That looks good, David. Yep, perfect. Okay, so from there, what's the next one we should do?
High knees, but on a wall or pole.
Okay, so if we use the wall, he's talking about a demonstration here. If we're here, he's going to do the same thing, except he's going to do it on the wall here. And this also duplicates you running on the field, like you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So let's see it do that too. And same thing. Start initially with the knees not coming up as far, and then just gradually build. Yep. And then slowly bring them up more and more. The more reps you do, increase the range of motion, the more you warm up. Yep, that looks good, David. Notice he's going higher and higher with the knees, gradually building up to it. And that's the whole point of the warm-up. Everything we do, we want to slowly bring it up in increments. That looks good. Perfect, David. And then from there, what should we do next?
Mountain climbers.
Okay, mountain climbers. So you want to demonstrate? So from here, yeah, try to keep that back straight. Just start slow at first. Yeah, you don't have to, remember, you don't have to go as far at the beginning. So just come up a little bit with the feet at first. Yeah, and then gradually build in with it. Yeah, and you can pick up the speed a little more too as you go. Yeah, okay, that looks good. And this is not easy, right, David?
No.
Okay, come on up. So far, so good? And actually, if you noticed, it was just an increment. We did high knees, upright, then we did high knees at about a 45, and then we did really high knees on the floor. So we just progressively got a little harder with it, right? You surviving?
Yeah.
What's next?
Crossovers.
Crossovers, okay. So from here, maybe we can go You're gonna do side by side first?
Yeah.
Let's do side by side. So, and then, you know, take your time with it. Yeah. So at this point, as he's working back and forth, what part of the legs are you working, David, as you're doing that?
The inside.
Inside and then outside. So we're trying to get all areas involved here, right? Okay, let's do a few more just so people can see. Yeah. And as he gets more warmed up, he can go a little quicker with it, back and forth. Yeah. And then what's after that?
Crossovers.
Okay, so why don't you demonstrate that too? Yeah, and again, he's starting slow just to warm himself up, and then gradually he'll build on it. Yeah, and then what are you doing at this point? What are you really warming up at this point? A lot of rotational movement, right? The twist, the torsion through the midsection. He's warming up the body so he can move the lower body independently of the upper body. Good way to go, right? Okay, where do we go from there?
The squat.
Want to do the squat? Okay. So same thing as we start to notice, he's got his toes pretty much facing forward. Come in a little bit, David, a little bit too far apart. The whole feet, I mean. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and the reason he puts his hands out, by the way, it just gives him a little bit better balance. So let's start going down lightly, not too far. Yep. And then building. We'll go a little further. So each one he does, he's trying to go lower and lower, trying to get more range of motion on it. That's it, David. Keep going. Yeah, it gets more and more challenging to open up the hips. He's opening up the knees and the ankles. We do the whole lower body at this point, which is good. Make sure you're breathing with it too, okay? Feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay, what's after that then?
The lunges.
The lunge? Okay, so why don't you start from there and just come across, just so they'll be able to see. Same thing, take small steps at first. Yep. So we start in slowly, just gradually building from there, just to warm things up. Not trying to take too big a step, and then slowly he starts to open up his gait and take a bigger and bigger step so he can stretch it that much further. Yeah, exactly. So now you open up more and more. Looks good, David. Okay, what's the next one?
The side lunge.
Okay, so why don't you do it from here too? Just demonstrate so people can see. Yeah, there it is, right? Trying to open up the inside of the leg again. Yeah, and same thing, not trying to go too low as you do the first couple, right? And then as you build gradually, you're going to go more and more to drop down lower and lower. Yeah. Yeah. Good, that looks good. So at that point, we're opening up the legs on the inside and the outside again. We're trying to get all areas. What's left?
The rollers.
Oh, the roller, that's right. So what David likes to do is take the roller. This is just one more way to get blood to the muscles. If he rolls out the muscles, at that point, there'll be more circulation and it just softens up things even more from there, right? So typically he'll go through, he'll do quad, he'll do the hamstring, the calf all the way down. He'll even get some of the glutes to get some in there as well too, right?
Yep.
Want to try a little bit? Yep. And at that point, just a nice way to do it. By the way, we should take note, he's not putting much pressure. When you use the massage stick like this, you don't want to do a whole lot of pressure. It's just a nice way to soften it up. Looks good, David. They get the general idea, right? How you feeling?
Good.
Yeah? Are you ready to play at this point?
Yes.
You're all limbered up? Now he'll be flying around the field, right? I look forward to a win today.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Appreciate that. That was a lot of help, right? I hope everybody has a great day, and I hope this helps. Nice pregame warm-up for you. I'll say bye, David.
Bye.
Bye-bye.